Hey everybody, JJ here. It is Saturday. I hope everyone's doing well. It's September 10th. Finally got some rain here in California as I had reported on yesterday. It's very, very nice. It was so hot and dry. We were having a massive ant invasion and we had to spray all kinds of stuff around the house. The ants were just coming in everywhere. And what happens when it gets so dry, the ants are looking for a cooler place. They're also looking for water. And we know that because the ants started going towards where the water was. They were going like into our water cups, into our little containers. It was very strange and creepy. But we're back and we are happy we had some rain here. It's not as dry, and that's going to help with the ant invasion in my household anyway. Hope everyone's doing well. Sorry about the long intro. We've got some economic news to get caught up on. And thanks to everybody that tuned into my last video. Some of you commented on the lights. You said it looks scary. If you think that looks scary, just wait until you see what's going to happen with the U.S. economy and actually the world economy. This is a worldwide economic crisis that we are in and that we're headed deeper into. Most people haven't realized it yet. Most people just think that being in debt is normal. But we know most people now, about 70% of people are in the most debt they've ever been in. Another statistic here, we're going to talk about a few different recent news articles here that also kind of underscore what we've been talking about here. Now, people are losing their home equity line of credit. Sadly, they're losing their equity in their home, and that makes it difficult to get the home equity line of credit, I should be clear. But sadly, that was a lifeline for millions of people. Now we see people putting their homes on the market, inventory rising in real estate. And what do we see here? Recent article here, NASDAQ.com. U.S. household wealth suffers record drop in second quarter. Folks, a record drop. This is more wealth vanished than the financial crisis, the dot-com bubble in 2000, 99, 2000. Household wealth fell by a record $6.1 trillion in the second quarter. So just in that 3-month period, folks, a drop of $6.1 trillion. Wow. As the bear market and stocks outweigh further gains in real estate. Well, they're talking about real estate in this article. I don't think they looked at the recent numbers. Keep in mind, a lot of these reports, they look at the Case-Shiller Home Price Index, which is only updated every 3 months, I believe, every quarter. So they're going to be way behind on the real estate front if you're just waiting for the Case-Shiller Home Price Index to come out. Here, we look at it monthly, and we tell you what's happening from month to month, not just quarter to quarter, or definitely not year over year. Yes, we look at those things, but we also look at month to month. It's much more important, especially when you're at the turning point, right? When you're just entering the recession or the downturn in the economy or the housing bear market, it's best to look at things month to month so you can see the recent trends or the more recent changes. Mortgage rates just went up at the beginning of the year. So looking at things on a year-over-year basis is definitely not the smartest thing to do at this point. Ultimately, we will see prices down year over year nationally, unless something crazy happens, some other rescue program for the real estate market or something like that. Maybe all the banks will have a zero down mortgage for everyone, not just for certain groups. I hope not. I hope some sort of insane rescue package such as that doesn't happen on a wider scale. That would be very bad, in my opinion. That would be keeping the bubble inflated. And yes, there is a massive real estate bubble right now, way beyond what we saw in 2007, 2008 before the financial crisis. I think we were one of the first channels here to warn you about that. Now, on that topic, keep in mind, some people still don't pay attention to details. They don't look at the context of what I'm saying, and that's very dangerous when it comes to money, financial, the economy. For example, there's people out there that came to the conclusion that I said real estate prices were going to go up to infinity forever, like 1,000 years, never see any bear market. Folks, I don't make infinity predictions, 1,000-year predictions. I'm pretty good for the next year, year and a half. I can tell you what's going to happen pretty accurately. Those that have been on the channel that actually listened know that I said in the second half of 2022 is when we're going to start seeing things fall apart. We also called the stock market top in January. We saw rates were rising. We saw we listened to the words that were coming out of the money guys and Powell and company, and we told you exactly what was going to happen with stock market and the housing market. We look at household wealth now, the biggest drop in household wealth here for this quarter, second quarter of this year. Just wait till the third quarter numbers come out. That's going to be very interesting to say the least. But yes, we've been on top of it here. I don't make forever predictions. So anyone telling you that they know what's going to happen. Anybody that goes out there and says, "Oh, this is what's going to happen permanently, forever, for 1,000 years," that is something crazy. I don't know anyone that would make that type of prediction, especially myself. I would not do that myself. So anyone that actually heard that on this channel, please pay attention, because you could really be hurting yourself financially if you are listening to my message or anyone's message and you get that type of misinterpretation, right? So very dangerous. Again, let's go to the next news article. Most Americans now say they're feeling the sting of inflation in their finances. That goes right along. It underscores what we've been talking about here. Most people living paycheck to paycheck. Most people in the most debt they've ever been in their entire lives right now. This is out of NBC News. More middle-income American households earning 48 to 90,000 annually are struggling now compared to last November. That didn't take long, less than a year. And now a lot of the people that said, "Oh, everything's fine, no worries, don't listen to the doom and gloomers," now they are feeling the pinch. Wow, things change rapidly, don't they? A majority of Americans said last month that the price increases were causing a financial hardship for households. That was a Gallup survey. 56% is up from 49% just in January. So in about 9 months there, a big increase. And it was only 45% back in November of last year. 12% of these respondents said they described their hardship as severe. Could those be the people that bought their homes at the peak of the real estate bubble? Because those carrying costs for these bubble price homes, it's not just the mortgage payment, it's your taxes. It's everything else, the cost of living, the cost to heat the home, the cost to cool the home, the cost of maintenance and upkeep. If you need a new roof, if you need a new AC unit, it is going to be very difficult with that mortgage payment on top of all those other expenses. So I think a lot of these people are recent homeowners, and we did see the FOMO, that's fear of missing out, over the past couple of years. People thought if they didn't buy a home right now, they would be priced out forever. I've told you here time and time again, I would not be buying real estate over the last few years. I've said that for myself. That was in California. Now, there's other parts of the country where if you bought a home last year, even this year, you'll be just fine. Some of the lower priced areas, the breadbasket, middle America, Iowa, Oklahoma, Nebraska, even further over to the east, Michigan, some parts of Michigan. You look at places like Grand Rapids, Michigan. Whew, home prices skyrocketed in Grand Rapids over the past few years. I wouldn't have been a buyer there either. But my point is, real estate is local. And if you're on the coast, that's a lot different than someone over in Iowa, right? So I think most of you know this, but I just want to be clear, because it's kind of sad for me to see someone down in comments get a message from this channel that is just the opposite. It's just the opposite of what we said here. Significantly more middle-income American households, those making, are struggling. Those making between 48 and 90,000, they call that middle income. In California here, 90,000 is barely scraping by. The Gallup found that the group has seen a 17% point increase in the share reporting a hardship as a result of price increases. Wow. So that is something that may not be a surprise to most of you here on this channel, but this is mainstream now. This is NBC News. This is no longer just me, the doom and gloom guy out here. This is, hopefully this will be on the 6 o'clock news, and more people will realize that they are not the Lone Ranger. They're not in this alone. Most people are now feeling the pinch financially. So let's be very careful around these times. This Gallup poll also says inflation causing a hardship. Yes, yes, yes. But here is more data. Let's drill down a little bit into this data here. Even people making $90,000 or more are feeling the financial strain. This is now 40%. So you're making 90,000 plus for your household. You think you're doing pretty good. Hey, you're almost at six figures, and now almost half of those people are feeling the financial pinch, right? So wild stuff, wild times. All right, now back to the energy bills here for just a minute. Let's talk about what's happening over in the UK. Things like this used to just be countries in South America or some really small country, maybe in the Middle East, where we see hyperinflation and people going through just financial chaos. Now we have the UK, and is the US next? We already see, and we reported on this, one or two reports ago, how in the United States, there's 20 million plus people behind on utility bills, and there's now a rescue program being implemented in some areas to freeze utility bills. We have another article here in the UK, same thing. The UK's move to freeze energy bills, and the article says here it signals a wider price fixing trend. So what do we have? Similar to 2020, we still have intervention happening to help people. In 2020, it was the foreclosure prevention, the foreclosure moratorium, it was the eviction moratorium, it was the cancellation of utility bills back then. Also, car payments got canceled, other types of loans got canceled. Most of you know this. Freezing utility bills in the UK. We're not in a health crisis. We're not in a health crisis. What's going on? We have a war, and all of a sudden now multiple countries are in financial peril because of a war. So is it good to be dependent on other countries? Is it good to outsource so many jobs to other countries? Is it good to have other countries produce and manufacture stuff that we use here? Is it good or is it not good? Should we be making this stuff at home? Should we be dependent, or should we be independent and not dependent on other countries, right? So when you're dependent on other countries for a while, it seems really good. Labor's cheaper over there. Let's ship in a bunch of cheap products and everybody feels good. They can go to Walmart, they can swipe their plastic and buy these things for a lot cheaper than you could have if you would have made it here in the US, because the cost of living is so high here. Until the cost of living comes down, there's always going to be this incentive to outsource where things are cheaper, where labor is cheaper. That's the danger of the high cost of living. We've been warning about that here for years, and now things are finally coming to a head. We rely on these other countries for energy, for imports, and now look what's happening. Other countries also, they are dependent on other countries to import stuff. And what's happening with energy in the UK, it is sad. Let's see here. New prime minister over in UK. Doesn't say how long this is going to last. Who knows? It could be indefinite. Wow. Crazy times, folks. Keep stacking. Hope you're doing well. Keep preparing. Appreciate every one of you here being on this channel to support me, to support my work, to listen to the information and keep the information in context and not jump to any conclusions. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Hope you're doing well. Going to sign off for now. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. Might see you tomorrow, depending on what's going on around the house here. Hope everybody's doing good. Keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace.